Have you ever been trolled and kicked at the end of a mission so you don't get any of the rewards? Well, Helldivers are actually fixing this, and I'm going to break it down in this video. We're also going to take a more detailed look at some of the new enemies that have been revealed. And yeah, this is going to be an awesome video, so let's check this out. So this is from the PlayStation blog, which is actually updating us as to what's going on with Escalation of Freedom. Of course, the update that is coming out on the 6th of August, which contains a ton of new content. Kind of like a mini expansion for the game, which is awesome and definitely something the game needed, because it has felt in recent weeks the game has lost a little bit of momentum. And this is definitely a great idea from the devs to bring the game back into the limelight. However, let's take a look at this. Under the hood. The last addition I want to highlight about Escalation of Freedom's update is that we're making changes to mitigate the problem of grief kicking in Helldivers 2. While it is our hope that players engage with the game in good faith and sportsmanship, we do recognise that some players are using the team kicking to grief others. To help improve this, we have implemented a system where if a player is kicked, they will spawn into a new session as the host with all of the team's loot from their previous session. All items can now be picked up by the player before extraction. The squad doing the kicking will see a message in the chat widget that a player has been kicked, yet their loot remains unchanged. So I'll be honest, guys, I think this actually is a really good solution to this problem, because nobody likes getting kicked at the end of missions, and it's happened to all of us. People just do it because they're arseholes. It's like, hey, it's funny, we've just gone through a 40-minute mission, you know what, I'm just going to kick you as the dropship's coming down. It's like, okay, great. Now you'll still actually keep the reward. So I think this is good. And also, I think a knock-on effect of this is it'll actually make kicking a bit easier, because if you do need to kick somebody, they're not actually losing anything. Yeah, they're losing their XP because they're not getting any of that, but they're still getting the items that you would have picked up on the mission. So they're still getting their samples and whatnot. So yeah, and their medals and currency if they've picked that up on the mission, or if the team have picked them up. So I think this is actually a pretty good solution. Now, there are some negatives to this, though, because if you think of it this way, and I think there's a ton of examples, I want you guys to let me know in the comments below if you can think of any other examples. But if you are looking to grief and troll in the game, now, obviously, you can't really just kick people because they'll still keep their rewards. But there are still other things you can do, like what about just team killing repeatedly to try and remove the reinforcement number down? Or if you're doing that and you get kicked, it kind of doesn't really matter because you're still going to keep any of the rewards that were earned in the mission. So, I don't know, it's a little bit weird, but I think this is a good solution. In fact, I think it's a pretty good solution, to be honest. But we're going to have to wait and see how this actually plays out in the game. There are also other fixes and quality of life changes coming with the update on August the 6th. Along with this, we're also releasing other quality of life upgrades with Escalation of Freedom, including major fixes to the social menu to make diving with your friends easier. Overall, we think Escalation is going to be packed full of awesome additions, long-awaited improvements, and a ton of surprises to discover. Helldivers 2 Escalation of Freedom is launching on August the 6th. So yeah, good news. Can't wait to play this. What potential surprises could we be getting? Well, look at this. This is the splash art for Helldivers 2 Escalation of Freedom. And you will notice, if we look at the top left-hand corner here, those appear to be Automaton spaceships. Now, we've not seen these before in the game. They're very clearly on the splash art. It could just be a thing which is there and that's fine. But everything else on this piece of art is actually playable, isn't it? Or is in the game and we can fight it. So it looks like we might be getting ships and possibly we get space missions or something. That would be insane if that was true. So this absolute abomination appears to be an armored Scout Strider with rockets. Now, this, obviously, you cannot shoot the Automaton's head because it appears to be fully armored. So this is going to take a lot more firepower to bring down. It's got rockets as well, and it appears to have 4 rockets. Now, we've got to wait and see whether it means it will only fire 4 rockets. We know Helldivers has been particularly terrible, but just, you know, things like Devastators just constantly fire rockets. They don't have any ammo. It looks like they've got ammo, but actually they don't. So if you think they've got like 16 rockets or whatever, no, they've actually got infinite rockets, and it might be the same for this. But I kind of like this because what this is doing is putting a twist on an existing unit. In essence, it's kind of making the existing unit sort of more, give it a bit more flavor, make it a bit more difficult. And I think that's cool. And I think this actually could be a kind of low dev time way of making the enemies that we've already got stronger and more varied and more interesting to actually fight by giving them sort of small additions instead of having to actually make a complete new enemy unit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to killing these guys. I bet the Plas Scorcher will be quite good on them. So this is the Impaler. Now, this is from Helldivers 1. Now, I've not played Helldivers 1, so I can't really comment on how they played in the game. But from what the devs say in the video, it's essentially a massive, it looks like a massive charger, almost as big as a Bile Titan. but it's got a ranged attack which spawns these massive tentacles out of the ground, and they start smashing you, which, yeah, is obviously why it's got the name it's got. Now, you can attack the tentacles and destroy them, so if they do spawn near you, there is the option to take them out. Probably the best way of dealing with this is just running away from them. As for the actual enemy itself, yeah, it's probably going to take a lot of firepower to take down. You'd imagine it will have weak spots underneath because it is Terminid and they generally do that. But I think this looks cool as hell. Like, this is the kind of thing that we need. Now, this obviously is a brand new unit and it's a massive unit, and I'm all for that because I think Helldivers 2 does scale really well, so just give us massive enemies. So talking of massive enemies, this thing is a multiple launch rocket system or rocket tank for the Automatons. Now, obviously, it uses the lower chassis of the tank, which there's two variants of at the moment. Anyway, you've got the one with the lasers, you've got the one with the cannon. Now we're going to get this, which is a longer range version. Now, this will fire rockets at you in two different ways. So it will just straight up fire them at you if you're close to it, which makes sense. But if you're far away, it actually fires them up into the sky, and they will drop down on your location. Now, again, it's debatable how much ammo this will have. It'll probably have infinite ammo. It probably won't just spawn with how many rockets it appears to have on its model. So this is going to be fun because, of course, we already get blasted with artillery by the Automatons anyway, and they've got the artillery emplacement. So actually spawning in these, yeah. And if you think about it, when a big fight is breaking out and you're fighting a lot of enemies, this is going to force you to keep changing position. If a couple of these have spawned and they're shelling your area, you've got to keep moving. So this is probably going to be a really nasty enemy. So this is the heavy Brood Commander. Now, this appears to be a lot more spikier than the standard Brood Commander. You'd imagine this has got more armor, it can take more damage, and probably does more damage as well. But the unique thing with this is it will summon sort of souped up, spiky warriors instead of the standard warriors. Again, this whole thing of making slight sort of changes to existing units to make them more difficult, I think is a really great way of adding that bit of extra spice into the game. So I'm all for this. But this, obviously, I guess in the grand scheme of new enemies, probably isn't as flashy as the other ones we've been over. So this bad boy is the Spore Charger. Now, this actually spawns spore, mist, or cloud, whatever the hell you want to call it, around wherever it is. Now, the reason for this is so it can, well, basically ambush you. Now, if you don't like things that reduce visibility, well, I got news for you because this thing will reduce visibility. It's also, it looks like a bit of a souped up, a sort of super strength charger as well, and it glows, which makes it look pretty good. But this one's probably going to be quite annoying to deal with. I'm not the biggest fan of this spore crap anyway. What about these guys? So you got jump jet automatons, but it looks like, and I'm not sure if this is what they've got. At first I thought, what the hell? They've actually got like, looks like chain swords or something. They've got like a melee weapon, but on closer inspection, have these guys got sniper rifles? Oh no. Okay, I had to throw this in because this actually made me laugh. So there's an update in the game at the moment, and it's a systems update. A cybersecurity software update has caused an unexpected outage for all destroyer surveillance systems. All personnel are ordered to manually record their own behavior until services are restored. Instructions to service technicians: to bring systems back online, please manually reboot affected computer 15 times. Now, this is about CrowdStrike. If you don't know what that is, essentially when the internet failed the other day, it was because a software security company called, well, CrowdStrike, I can't remember the name of their software. Is it Falcon or something like that? Anyway, it's security software that a load of basically business computers use. They updated it failed, and it caused Windows to crash. And one of the fixes was to repeatedly reboot the system. It could actually make them come back to life. But I think the actual fix is to manually reboot into safe mode, and then I think delete one of the drivers where it's to do with the CrowdStrike software. I'm not a computer engineer, and then it fixed it or something, but it meant that you had to reboot the computers manually. This is really cool, and I like it when they do stuff like this because it sort of gives you that connection to the real world, doesn't it? Alright guys, thanks for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. I'm actually really hyped for this. I think this is always going to be a game. When an update comes out, it's going to get like super, I don't know, like super hyped. We're going to come back and play it, and then we wait for the next update. But I'm fine with that because I love dropping in and dropping out of this game. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I've been Stylosa, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next video. See you soon.